Hey Rhody, I'm Elise Major.
And I'm Jenna Kaplan, and this is Hey Rhody Weekly, where we bring the pages of our magazines to life.
This month, we're exploring how to display your summer art finds.
The latest tattoo trends.
We meet a personal chef.
And we go over some midsummer wellness.
All this and more coming up.
So, in April I turned 30. And what I've really found is I love finding like unique artwork, usually at flea markets or even festivals. But I keep buying so much that I don't know where to put them.
I know. I mean, it's like you really want to kind of curate where to hang the art so that it has its like moment and everything. So I had gone into the shop, Kristen Coates, which is on the corner of Bellevue Avenue in Newport. If you ever go to Newport, you'll see a shop and the door is just covered in flowers.
Ooh.
It's really beautiful. And over the years from visiting, we've become, good friends. And I asked her if she would be interested in writing about tips about where to display your artwork, because she's also an artist herself. She helps do installation for home art. So she shares her tips about where to hang art, how to mix it up. All the tips are right in the magazine. And she also suggests, if you're really stumped, ask a pro like herself for tips about where to hang art.
One of the tips that I did really like was the to keep notes with you, like measurements, things like that, because so many times I've bought something, I'm like, it'll fit. It never does.
And I know this is like slightly off the topic of just straight art, but when you're talking about hanging things up in your home, I think a lot of the time people skip the idea of hanging your own photos. So like everybody has their camera in their pocket all the time. People like to take photos. And I think we are in such a digital age that we skip the part of printing photos.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have it printed out, say like 5x7 or 8x10, those are standard sizes to go to a shop that even has a mat and a frame already. And that just makes it look so pretty. But yeah, she has a lot of tips just like that.
I was gonna be like, or just get your scrapbook on, but then that's like totally pivoting somewhere else. But yeah.
Exactly, yeah, totally. But yeah, visit her shop. It's full of inspiration, beautiful art, and she even has tiny works for sale. So if you like her paintings and you're on a budget like me, you can buy something that's this big and still have some original artwork in your home. So this month, we're also talking about a trend that's tiny tattoos. And this one has some. So she did an experience piece and wrote all about it. Will you please tell us about your experience getting a tiny tattoo?
Yes. So it started off very random. I was walking around in downtown Providence and I ended up in Baubles and Lace, and they were doing a pop-up of like tiny tats is what they called it. And it's with Brow Tourage on Instagram. I was like, okay, I'll just get one. I ended up getting two. And now the experience piece was my third.
Can I tell you, I have never wanted a tattoo. It's just not my thing. But reading that article and seeing her designs on her flash sheet, I thought, wow, these are really pretty.
So because they're so dainty, it's such a small needle that it really does not hurt.
And how long did it take?
So the one, I got an outline of my two dogs' ears. That's what I got for the experience. It's probably like that big. It took 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Wow. And then I know that Brow Tourage, her name is Andrea Furtado.
Yes.
She's also very into like the aftercare. So she posts a lot of reels and things on her Instagram page about aloe on the tattoo.
So she gives you the aloe to keep to put on. She also has a patch that she'll put on that preserves it, and you just keep it on until it falls off. But Andrea, she's amazing. Since my first tattoo, I'm like, you're amazing. Like all this stuff has kind of like forced a friendship upon her. But yeah, she's
very cool.
amazing.
Read all about it in our magazines.
July's in the Kitchen profiles Taylor Pelton. And he goes by sometimes Tenny Cooks.
Tenny Cooks on Instagram.
And he's a personal chef.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more?
Yes, and I have to say that I kind of made this story happen because I went to an event at Dye House. It was a paint room pottery event, and there was a big spread of food all made by Taylor, AKA Tenny Cooks. And I thought it was some of the most interesting things I had ever eaten in my life. Just fascinating flavors mixed together.
Like what?
So he has this one dish, I think it was called like herring with a fur coat. And it had like different caviars and like whitefish and egg. I mean, and it was really delicious. It was one of those things where I kept getting up for a little more, a little more, a little more, to the point where I was like almost a little like cause a diversion so nobody sees how much of this I'm eating. So immediately, started following him on Instagram, and Abby Lammers, who is our managing editor, she assigns all of our food, and I was sort of like a squeaky wheel, like, you gotta feature Tenny Cooks. Then, I know, and then following him on Instagram, I saw that he was the cook for Thomas Dambo and his like troll makers when they were doing their troll installation in South County.
Yeah.
Because they're vegan, very sustainable, and he was brought on to be the chef for that whole build. So it was fascinating to watch him work with the trolls.
The trolls.
The trolls. On the blog, we're talking about midsummer wellness, especially with all these heat waves and climate change. I think it's more important than ever. And Jenna here has a bunch of tips about staying hydrated.
I do, because I feel like, July, festivals, like there's all these things happening and you're just going that you're gonna burn yourself out. So it's definitely important to keep in mind, like, if it's so super hot out, like don't go running outside, wait till it cools down, make sure you stay hydrated. With, we have so many farmers markets, like getting food from there, shopping local, just putting good into your body, I think is definitely very important. And then also sunscreen.
Yes. And I feel like trying to drink, it's hard to drink a lot of water. So I'm always throwing fruit in my water. You'll see me, even when we have our little Zoom calls, there's always something floating in the glass because I'm just always trying to make it taste better.
Yeah. And also, so I'm someone who's like, okay, if it's a workout, I'm not doing it. I'd rather just anything but that. But there's so many community events that you can go to that kind of you get an exercise in, like yoga. I'm sure there's yoga.
There's yoga on the beach.
There's also yoga with alpacas.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think this is going to be in a later magazine, but All That Matters does a sunset on the beach yoga in Matuna.
Yeah.
So I think the takeaway is, save your activities, like exercise activities, if you're going to do them outside, first after the sun goes down.
Yeah, and just listen to your body.
Yeah, I feel personally attacked by this list.
As you should.
Because I am the worst at all of these things. I definitely don't drink enough water. I don't listen to my body. If it's too hot, I just stay out there too hot. I never put sunscreen on. I'm the one that always burns. And I know these things about myself. So maybe I should be a little more self-conscious about
Nick,
these
read
things.
the blog.
You should, yeah.
I gotta
Find
read
it on the blog, would you?
I can't read things when I feel attacked, Jenna, okay?
I can read them
Personally
to you.
attacked. Okay, perfect. Like story time.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah, I'll be like, ever since I hit 30, I fancy me some artwork.
Exactly.
I should make a little light or something that I can hit so you guys can see it. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah, totally. Hot mic. She gonna find out.
She gonna learn.
She's gonna learn today.
She gonna learn.
The importance of hydration.
Hey, Rhody.
Hey, Rhody.
20 cooks.
In the hizzy. I love that.